This is going to be the story of how I stopped drinking alcohol and how it was influencing my life, what an impact it had on me, and just the whole story of something that was kind of, quote, being fun, but then it turned out to be a complete mess. So, welcome, and I hope you enjoy this story because it's kind of a topic that I did not plan to talk about it, but I mean this early on. But anyway, why not? I mean, I was thinking about it too, so I don't know. It's probably a good thing to do it now. Maybe it will help someone. Anyway, welcome to the channel. Welcome to Atska, and now I'm going in order like to fully explain it. I would have to go all the way back from like all the time I can remember my introduction with alcohol, aka beer and stuff, and then the other things. So we will go as far as I can remember, which is going to be in elementary school. Now, I believe I was either like 11 or 12 when I had my first beer. That was, I think, that was around I think around the time when I was about to finish elementary school, right? So, and also I think before that as well, because we had 8 grades. No, 9 grades. There was the first grade was the kindergarten. You start at age of 6, and then you move up 8 years. Like you have grade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then high school. But of course, along the way, you meet certain people, and I even saw a couple of guys even drinking energy drinks at the age of 10, 11. People like boys smoking cigars, but stuff like that. But the quote older I got, you get invited to parties, and they were like, of course, juices on some people when they had a birthday. They had beer and they would drink it in secret. Of course, I don't remember on parties drinking it, although there was a thing. I don't know if it was alcoholic, but probably was for kids, like a champagne thingy that was sparkly, winey. I don't know, but it probably doesn't count. Uh, on those parties, when I got closer to finishing elementary school, I remember being invited, and I would try beer, have one, two, and it was like, it was bitter tasty. It wasn't something that was enjoyable at first, and uh, it was casual. Like at the beginning, I'm probably gonna say it a lot, like the word casual, because that's how it was. Of course, I did not drink every day, or I was like addicted to it, wanting it. But when you go to a gathering, when there was a gathering, and when you were at a party, everybody was drinking, you were too, and it's fine. What I do know is at my graduation, I was drinking. I think 3 beers, but I got a bit dizzy, but it was fine. They were my parents. My parents were there as well, because I remember I still have the videotape of elementary school graduation, and I was like holding two bottles, right? It was glass bottles. Like, hey. And I remember I was drinking there too, but it was fine. They had no problems with it. And then, as I went into high school, obviously, as a guy, as a boy, I was allowed to stay up late more and more, and I was allowed to go here and there to parties and whatnot. And the parties became also not only parties, don't get me wrong, but also just normal gatherings between friends, right? So on these gatherings, it was not always, but sometimes you would drink 1 beer. That's it. You would drink like 1 beer. Nobody would drink like a lot. But when there was a party which was, I think it was held about between 2 or 4 times a month, I believe, maybe even 5. It was really random stuff, but it was frequent, so to say, and you would drink beer. Yes, I got drunk. Well, at the beginning, I did not really get drunk, and that was the age. We move on to 13, 14, 15, 16, where I was just going to parties and I did not really get drunk that much, but I did, however, try to mix things such as the liquor stuff and wine. And I don't know. I remember. Oh God, these plastic cups that you play beer pong with. We did not play beer pong, but those plastic cups, right? I remember having 3 glasses of those, but there was Jack Daniels and Coca-Cola. I had 3 glasses and I was done. I remember, oh God, I was in high school, and I remember I had 3 of them. It was like super dizzy. Somebody drove me home, and I just vomited in the hole, like, for a couple of hours before I went to sleep. And when I woke up, like, it was chaos. But I did not really drink a lot of those hot stuff. Well, at the beginning, I usually mostly mix it up. And for all I can say is, on those parties all the way up until which year now, man? Because I don't want to be this long. Because, like I said, it was pretty low, and I did not overdo it. Of course, I later on got drunk pretty much on every occasion. But when I finished high school, yeah, at the graduation party, we drank like hell. And I mean everything that was in there, we drank it. the liquor, like the people call it, like rakia, wine, and also some Jack was always there, I think, Jack Daniels and stuff. So you would always mix it, and also beer. But I did not have any problem with mixing it, because we were drinking until since 7 afternoon until 4 in the morning or something like that, until literally the restaurant was closing, and I was fine. So my drinking days in high school. Oh, I also bought sometimes when I decided not to go to school, which was kind of often, but I did not always drink. But sometimes I would just buy beer. The plastic bottles of 2 liters. I remember the beer was called, like, back then, Pils Plus. I would buy it and I would drink it. And funny thing is, that 2-liter bottle would take me about 4 hours to completely drink it. And I would sip it, like, slowly sip it, and I would get completely wasted on it, bro. Bam. Now, no, on high school it was pretty normal, just like everybody else was doing it. When you go somewhere, you have a couple of drinks, but that was pretty much it. I remember once starting a drinking thing with the whole class at my last year. Me and a friend, we were skipping. Well, I mean, I convinced him to skip class, and there was literally a shop nearby, and we went to drink. I mean, I was like, "Hey, let's go drink beer," right? It was around 9 in the morning. What the? So I convinced him to come with me, and we started to drink. And while our class was in the class, right? we just skipped it, and I was at beer 4 until he decided, until like the class was over. Normally the classes last like how many minutes? 45 minutes, I believe. Yeah. I was drinking 4. I was in such a mood that I blasted through it so fast. Now, then everybody came out, like, the bell was ringing, and then everybody comes out. They see us like, "Hey, what the hell are you guys doing?" And I'm like, "Hey, come on, And I started to drink with everybody, bro. We started to drink. And I made a lot of videos, which I'm sad that I don't have anymore because it was on the old phone. But that was pretty much interesting. The guy that I was with, he got wasted. He could not go to his village on the bus because somebody had to carry him home. And then the next day he cursed me out because I got him drunk. I was just like, oh damn. I was vomiting everywhere, dude. My flow, I was so sick I could not go home. I'm like, sorry, man, but I didn't, I didn't force you to drink. I just asked you if you wanted to drink or not. Oh boy. Also, after high school, I would say I can safely close the high school chapter because you got drunk, sometimes bad, sometimes just get a nice buzz and then that's it. But nothing really extreme. Like I said, I wasn't at that point addicted to it. I did not want it every day. I was not craving it, blah blah. No, that was fine. Now we're gonna move on past high school. That will be age of 18. Now, that was 2013 when I finished high school. For the next 2 years, I was in Serbia. I was doing work with my dad, which was mostly garden stuff at a farmhouse and other things about repairing certain things. So working for someone else, like rooms and just kind of that thing, which was when did it start? It was 9, sometimes 10 hours. It really depended, but especially when we worked in a farmhouse, he allowed me to drink beer, and I gladly took it. I would sometimes. So now here's the thing: I did not drink every day, but when I went to the farmhouse, for example, I would take 3 or 4 beers, like the glass ones, 0.5 liters. Also, by the way, we are going to talk about main beer. I drank other ones as well, but main beer that I did was called Zaječarsko. So I would had this thing that could hold a 6-pack, but I would take like 3 or 4, and I would drink them on my break. So 4 beers, 3 beers a day, or sometimes 2. Not every day, of course. I drank between 4 or 5 days, that kind of amount. But I did not get drunk on those, of course, because you were working and it was kind of fine. Sometimes there would be like a week gone by, I did not drink. Sometimes I would get, when I go on a PC, I would get 2 beers and drink them. So that was when there was no party. Now I'm going back at it because, of course, you had birthdays, you had New Year's, and you were invited sometimes. And by the way, don't worry, the parties, they ceased to be a thing after, when was it? After 2019 is, bro, there's still a couple of them, bro. Never mind, let's go back at it. So when you go to said parties, and there things went a bit too much because I was only thinking about if there is beer, like internally, because my main goal to go to the parties was to get drunk. That's it, right? I was still at a phase where I enjoyed beer, and I would not deny it. Like when I was sick, of course, I would not drink it, but I would never deny it. I sometimes drank, shots of things like wine, and I still kept up with energy drinks, which I sometimes mixed. But in those 2 years, while I was working with that here on the gardening farmhouse, it was around that number, 3-4 beers a day. When you go to parties, it will jump up to 5-6. That's it. Not a daily thing. Still not telling me that it's messing me up and whatnot. 2015, when I first got a visa to Germany, I discovered a bar. When I got the visa, I remember I got drunk. I got massively drunk. But when I got the visa, I went to work, and I remember each time after work, what I would drink would be 2 beers and also an energy drink. The beers were cans 0.5, the energy was 0.33, right? Every day after work, which would end about 6:30, depends. Then I would discover a bar in which I would go at least 2 or 3 times a week. Uh, no, I quit work after 4 months, but I would go every weekend when I didn't have to work on Saturdays. So before I quit the job, I went to the bar on a weekly basis. But after I quit, I went to the bar 2 or 3 times, which was quite expensive. A story I can remember from said work just right after the work, is I downed a bottle of wine after work while sitting at a bus station. And that's, I don't know how I can remember that, bro. We were delivering some goods to a guy, to a man, to an old man, whatever, in a basement. He had a lot of wines. He was a collector of some kind. He liked the old stuff. And there was some tables, some chairs, some heavy stuff, whatnot. Well, when we finished work, he gave each of us a bottle of wine. I got a white one. It was 0.75, I think. It wasn't a liter. It was this thin on the top and roundy on the bottom. And now, that was the day because we were working for a couple of hours, I think about 4 hours, without me drinking anything. And after 4 hours, which was from 1 till 5, and then we ended, of course, and I was so thirsty, I did not even have time to go to the thing. The bus comes in 10 minutes. I was at the bus station. I pulled out a cigarette because, of course, I was drinking. And I did not have water. And I just looked at a bottle and I go, okay, let's do it. And I go and I took it and I chugged it down within seconds. And I had to meet my mom. And I felt nothing for the first minutes. Once I was in the bus, that's it. It hit me. I did not puke or something. I was just like, it was all twisty, all woozy, and it was fun. Like it was a great wine as well. I do remember its taste. It was refreshing. But yeah, on an empty stomach, oof, bro, I wouldn't do it again. For the work, I do not remember that much. Also the boss. Every time after I quit the job, 2016 and 2017, every time I would go to Germany, I would be at the bar, or I would have a place. There was this abandoned bus station. We had some benches, and I would go there pretty much every day. 2016 was the time where I started to drink at least 4 cans of beer pretty much daily. It's hard for me now to say not every day, because it was going to be every day, even if it was 1 or 2 beers. So 2016, that was 10 years ago. So, brother, I had about 20 years. 22, 21 years, yeah. So 2016 was about 4 beers, and this abandoned bus station was a chill place. I remember always having earphones in, and I got drunk on 4 beers pretty much. It's just crazy that 4 beers did so much to me. And I remember sleeping real good. So when I didn't go to the bar, I go to the bus station. Normally I would buy beer from some stores. It was cold, or sometimes at a gas station, and then you would just straight head up there, and that's it. Nothing really special. Those sunsets were just amazing. I still know how it was feeling real well and the music I was listening to. But yeah, 2016, it started to kind of go bad to 4 beers a day. Now, that summer in 2016, I remember we also had a basement, garage / garage, whatever, where my dad was also making various sorts of liquor. So you had, again, rakia. You had really strong ones, the yellow ones, and white ones. You had white wine, red wine, and you had some, I don't know from which it was, from not pears, but from blueberries or whatever. There was a couple of variations of those, but there were about 40 or 50 bottles of, how many? 1.5 liters of those, okay? And what I did during the summer, which I think was June, July, and mid-August, I did not drink all of them, but I tasted and drank all of the bottles, like half of them, like 0.5. And here's the thing on how I would do it. So my setup for the summer, so I had 4 beers, I had a can of energy drink, and I had a plastic bottle of water, which was also 1.5 liters. So I would take an empty bottle of the water thing, right? Plastic bottle. I would sneak up, so like late at night. I had to wait until my dad went to the house so I can sneak it up. Jumping. Oh, I don't know what the fuck I was doing. Over the fence, and I would open it. So I would get the bottle of the liquor, whichever it was. Doesn't matter. We're not going to go into specifics, but we chose one randomly. Now, what I did was I would sip it into my plastic bottle of the water, fill it till half, which would be around 0. Not really accurate, but it was half, so I would assume it's 0.70 something. And then I would close it up. But you might ask, okay, there's a half of it. My dad would, figure it out. What? Oh, damn, bird scared me. My dad would figure out. No, because right then and there, we had a hose with water. So what I did was, I was filling the other half up with the water. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes he would give that alcohol to workers that would come here, work with him, right? So I diluted those alcohol things pretty heavily because it was half water then, right? And sometimes they would just lose color. But I would not get busted for it. That's the thing, I did not get busted for it. There was a time though when one of the workers said it was weak. I was like laughing. But yeah, then I took the bottle with me in my room and I started drinking every day until I finished tasting every bottle of those 40, 50, however it was. But every night I had like 4 beers, 0.5 energy drink, 0.3, and the liquor stuff. And the way I would drink it would be like this. I would have a shot glass. I would take the liquor in the shot one, take it, hold it in my mouth, take 1 or 2 sips of energy drink, and then just wash it down with beer. The next day repeat, and I would sometimes even during the day drink 1 or 2 beers. So in total maybe like about 6 or something, which seems enough, seems a lot. But 4 was my standard, man, and that's what I did the whole summer, and then it was just like that until 2017, where I would be taking the amounts a bit higher. 2017, it jumped from 4 to 6, but it was only evening that I needed the 6. Yeah, I do not count the time during the day, which would be sometimes minimum would be 2 beers, right? I would have sometimes 3, sometimes 4, depends. But always, when I was on my PC, I would need to have six beers. Whether it was, I would always have a mix up. Maybe buy a plastic one of 2 liters, which would count as 4 cans, and then just 2 cans. But whatever. It was then moved to 6, and pretty much it became a daily thing without me knowing. And I did not think at that time that it was a problematic thing, because I had, well, some sort of fun, and I just kept at it. I do not know anything that happened. Of course, we had 2016 to 17 New Year, 17 to 18. When I would go to Germany, same thing as well. Going to the bar, there I would take 4 or 5, or just like the good old abandoned bus station. I did not go to Germany that much because we had a lot of work in 2017, so I mostly stayed in Serbia, and I would just keep on drinking until 2018. And as you can imagine, that's when things kind of escalated more and more, because then it started to be 8. It started to be 8 beers a day. No, not a day, but at night while I was on the PC. But later, the other half of 2018, I would develop this thing. Oh God, where I would drink sometimes during the day, and then I would sleep, then wake up like afternoon, and then buy again. So drink again, I mean. But buy and drink, it's the same thing. You would wake up. Here is how a typical day would be, and later I would always obviously have increased the dose. But imagine waking up around 7 something, go to the city, get 8 beers, drink one on the way. Yeah, I was also drinking while driving, and sometimes I was drunkish in driving. So I would drink one until I got home, and I would drink until 12 or 1. That's how long it took me to drink those 8 beers. And then I would fall asleep, wake up around 4 or 5 afternoon, go to the city again and buy another 8 beers, and go back to my room, play games, listen to music, and then repeat. That happened late 2018, start of 2019, where this pretty much became my standard. So if I didn't have work, that's how my day was. Wake up, drink, nap, wake up, drink, sleep. I barely drank water. So when you calculate it, it was about 16 cans of beer a day. 2019 became even more and more about just drinking, because yes, we had jobs, we had work, but sometimes I would just not go there. If I had to guess, those days where I would drink like in the morning and in the afternoon would be, I think, 3 or 4 times a week. But yeah, and then at night I would always have 8 or 9 beers. It wasn't going up to 10, not yet, until 2020. Oh, I also forgot to mention I stopped drinking energy drinks after 2017, so that's out. It was just beer now. 2020 that's when things got kind of bad, because it was 10 at night, right? And of course we had to drink during the daytime, and then I somehow was like, okay, I cannot function without beer, because I noticed even like a couple of years ago, 2017, 18, every time I would start to get invited on invitations to go to the city, I was getting anxious to the point of me drinking before I would drive to the city, and then drink to this in the city again. And that stopped in 2021. That's when nobody was inviting me anymore. I mean, at that time, I even stopped, slowly losing people. Not because of that, but because of other reasons. But yeah, every time I would get invited to summer, or I had summer to go, I would get fueled up, so to speak, beforehand and just go. Whether it was, I don't know, a wedding, a gathering of some sort of family, visiting someone, whatever. But they did not notice I was already drunk. Oh boy. Um, Damn. It's kind of it's not hard, but I when I talk about it, it just reminds me I can still see those days where I had so many plastic bags filled with cans of beer that it was impossible to throw them away, bro. I had my full wardrobe filled with those things in days, you know. And just the amount of beer that you would drink, and after 2020, I really became dependent on it. I don't drink now. I'm sober for about 4 or 5 months, and I do not drink anymore. And back then, I could not imagine not to drink. That sounds crazy because I had to drink. Like, really, I had to do it. And then I started to slowly kind of realize, okay, this is getting bad, because whenever I would stop, I would be really anxious until the breakup in 2021, when I got panic attacks and whatnot, and I was going to the doctors to get checked up, so I got prescribed medications for to calm down, and I did not drink. Then it was the first time in my life, August 2021. I don't remember which date exactly, but from August 2021 till November 2023, I did not drink anything, like no alcohol, because I was being on medication. But end of 2023, which was around December or something, before New Year's, I started to drink again. Slowly, I just instantly bought. I don't know how, but I remember feeling way too good, and I was like, okay, let's just buy beer, and I bought instantly seven cans, and bro, that it felt like really really good. And then I didn't drink the next day. I drank then the other day, and TLDR, we started again beginning of 2024, all the way up until recently. Now it's 2026. I was slowly ending it off in 2025. I drank in the beginning of this year, but then I just stopped, because I did not want to do this. In 2024, so yeah, it's about 2 years. That was the craziest time, because in one sitting, and it was mostly from 5 or 6, I had 12 beers, or 13 sometimes. It really depended. And it was never enough, because the way that it goes, at that point, I did not like the feeling of beer, so to speak, the taste, sorry. But I liked the feeling that I had. No worries, no anxiety, no nothing. And again, the voices just were telling me to keep drinking, keep doing this and that. I was just on beer though, nothing else. I was just drinking beer, and every day, 12 cans of beer, sometimes 13, and I mean every day for 2 years, until I stopped recently. And it's crazy to imagine that now I don't drink. Sometimes I do get tempted to do it, but I don't, because I've built myself really slowly up, really back up when it comes to eating better, healthier, losing the damn weight that I got from sitting and drinking and doing nothing, napping and whatever. And just also health wise, and slowly getting back into exercising and pretty much doing other things. I mean, so much time was wasted on drinking that basically my whole day was being dictated by when will I drink, how will I get by drinking, you know. Like, the moment I would wake up, I would think, okay, how do I plan my day out to buy beer. Everything revolved around it. I mean, yeah, it's hard for me now to think of the time when I drank so much that it went out of control. Like I said, it started out as a casual thing, but ended up ruining me pretty much, because you literally did nothing else but drink. When I ate something, I ate it just quickly and as little as I could, because I wanted my stomach to to have drinks in them. Water, I did not even drink. Pretty much, just when I wake up, I would take a couple sips of water. That's it. But I mean, how many hours? You wake up 7, then you drink until 10, 11, so that's more than 12 hours a day. It was just on, plus napping, was just spent on drinking, listening to music, getting effed up. And now that all the free time I can do, with all the free time I can do a lot more things, which is crazy because you don't see how much you waste, you lose, and you gain nothing. When I was drinking, I was pretty much imagining myself instead of doing those things that I should have been doing, of getting to where I wanted to be. And yeah, it was quite a ride. I don't think I was lucky enough to get out like this, because I know some people did not have that luck, maybe, to not get seriously, like, not injured but have some issues. Well, I got some mental issues as well. I started to ramp up those things, especially after the breakup, but that doesn't matter now because I do not drink on emotions. I mean, I did not drink on emotions back in 2025 before I started to stop. And I stopped pretty much, like they say, cold turkey. Yeah. Just like that, because it did not feel any more good. You realize that I was being 30 and the hangovers were pretty brutal. Like, I was out of commission for one whole day. I was feeling so bad. Sleep was, for years I ruined my sleep without knowing it, and getting that back to normal is also a thing. So yeah, I'm pretty glad that I stopped drinking. And I mean, that kind of amount. I don't even think about beer anymore, nor do I want it, at least not to the degree I used to. I don't think I could, to be honest, because having 10 effing beers, 10 cans, that's 5 liters. And me imagining it that a couple of years ago I would down those in less than 3 hours, sometimes 2, because when you get past 4, 5 beers, they start to feel like water, start to taste like water, and you can just chug it down without knowing. It's super fast. No. Also, the money that was spent on it, I could have gotten or bought myself a lot more better things with that if I saved up and didn't drink. But what's done is done. It was a crazy hell of a ride, and I'm glad I got off the station. So now it's pretty much sober life, and I do not want to do anything with beer because I'm still kind of processing of how things go, you know, the sober life, and I do not have the anxiety as I used to have, at least not to the extreme, like getting panic attacks or being scared of certain things. So that kind of works out. And like I said, I'm doing things to better myself up and just improving what I can, what I had ruined, destroyed. So yeah, that was pretty much in a nutshell type thing. I was an alcoholic for a long time, and I drank so much, bro. It's it's crazy, but I'm happy that I stopped, and that is my story of beer, of alcohol, how much I drank, and how I overcame it. So I hope you folks lots enjoyed it. So take care of yourselves. Don't overdo on certain things, and you'll be fine. Have a good one.